When Jaws was released, it scared many people away from the ocean due to its convincing shark attack premise. However, there's a funny moment where a shirtless man in a bucket hat runs towards the ocean with a big grin, seemingly enjoying the beach while everyone else is in panic. In Mr. Nanny starring Hulk Hogan, there's a strange scene that caught viewers' attention. While Hogan rides his motorcycle down a highway, a man in the background is seen tossing his dog into the ocean. This bizarre moment wasn't planned or scripted. The man wasn't part of the film's production. He just happened to get caught on camera during this odd act, leaving audiences puzzled every time they watch it. In The Avengers, during the Chitauri attack on New York, many civilians are running for safety. While Clint, Steve, and Natasha help those in danger, one civilian in a blue and white striped shirt is sprinting down the street, looking like they don't need any help at all. It's a funny moment and more realistic, but it kind of ruins the scene since the other extras are just jogging. In Teen Wolf, there's a well-known blooper during the basketball victory scene. A fan in a red sweater is seen cheering with their pants unzipped. Realizing the mistake, they quickly zip up. Originally thought to be a man, it was later revealed the extra was a woman. One of my favorite examples is from Quantum of Solace. There's an extra behind Bond who has apparently never swept before in his life. They probably wouldn't let him sweep the ground due to sound, but still, this one makes me laugh because it's so obvious. The same thing happens in Biker Boys. In While You Were Sleeping, there's a quick, hilarious scene where a paperboy rides his bike down the street, loses control, and falls off. It's completely random, but remains one of the funniest moments in the movie. In Back to the Future 3, during Doc's farewell to Marty with his new wife and kids, one of the boys on the right makes a bold gesture toward his crotch. Props to the kid for pulling it off, and for it somehow making the final cut. In a scene from James Cameron's director's cut of The Abyss, a crowd on the beach is waiting for a big tidal wave. However, one guy is more focused on pulling down his friend's pants than being scared about the wave. In Airplane, my favorite scene is when the plane crashes through the window. If you pay close attention, one of the extras holding a baby tosses it into the air while running away as the plane comes through. In North by Northwest, during the scene where Eve shoots Roger in the Mount Rushmore cafeteria, a young child extra can be seen plugging his ears before the gun fires. Since the loud noise startled him during previous takes, Hitchcock kept this moment in the final cut. In the teaser for Dunkirk, there's a moment where an extra looks up way too early and smirks. He was cut from the final film after fans complained. In Ghostbusters, background actors were encouraged to be excited during the parade scene, but one extra went all out. He even managed to shout, "Ghostbusters! All right!" Interestingly, that extra Eldo Ray Estes is now an Emmy Award-winning makeup artist. "Ghostbusters! All right!" In Scream 2, as Sidney leaves a sorority party after a nearby murder, there's a brief funny moment where a guy stumbles out with a bowl, acting drunk and rolling his eyes, adding humor to the serious scene. In Everything Must Go, during a scene with Laura Dern, her two kids are playing in the background. When the camera cuts back to Farrell and Dern, the kids are oddly frozen in place for about 6 seconds. Neither actor seems to notice, creating a strange and eerie moment that stands out in the film. Similarly, there's an extra in The Last Samurai who gets kicked in the crotch by a horse. In one scene in The Empire Strikes Back, while everyone was evacuating the kids, one man was busy saving an ice cream machine. It was such an iconic moment that the man got an action figure and a compelling backstory.
Why do Chinese girls taste different from all other girls?
In You Only Live Twice, there's a scene where Donald Pleasance is holding a calm white cat. But when a loud explosion goes off, the cat freaks out and starts squirming to get away. Pleasance has to grip the cat tightly, but you can totally tell the poor thing is super uncomfortable the whole time. One of the most famous movie blunders ever. In the original Star Wars, a group of stormtroopers enters a control room through the Death Star's blast door, and one of them accidentally bumps his head on it. Fans quickly noticed this mistake, and the Star Wars community has embraced it. George Lucas didn't try to fix it in the special edition. Instead, he added a thud sound effect to make it even more obvious.
Take over.
In Christmas with the Cranks, one extra hits another extra in the head with a ladder. In Passenger 57, there's a noticeable blooper during the plane hijack scene where an extra is seen bleeding before he's even shot. It seems the makeup artist applied the fake blood too early, and it started trickling down before the scene called for it. Surprisingly, this obvious mistake slipped past the editing team. In Die Hard with a Vengeance, there's an extra who just stands in the middle of a sidewalk for several seconds, obviously waiting for a cue. In The Dark Knight Rises, during a fight scene between Batman and Catwoman, a henchman falls over for no reason, without being hit by anyone. This might be the worst extra ever. Fortunately, the dim lighting makes him look like just a shadow in the background. In Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, during the musical number Ain't There Anyone Here for Love, several musclemen dive over Jane Russell into a pool. One of them accidentally knocks her in, and this moment made it into the final cut. He even tried to claim credit for choreography for the mishap, which was pretty bold, but it didn't work out for him. In Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, before things get dark, Bill the Candyman sings a cheerful song about candy. However, during the scene as Bill lifts the counter hatch, he accidentally hits a young girl in the jaw. Despite the mishap, the moment stayed in the final cut of the movie.
Candyman.
Willy Wonka can.
In A Knight's Tale, 3 extras cheer too early during Chaucer's speech, while the rest stay silent. Since the extras were from the Czech Republic and didn't understand English, they got confused about when to clap.
We walk in the garden of his turbulence!
Although Mark Addy saved the moment with an improvised line, the awkward timing still stands out to fans. In Logan's Run, during the final scene where the crowd gathers around the old man, one extra throws up the Vulcan salute from Star Trek. Either the director didn't notice, or just didn't care. In Star Wars Return of the Jedi, as General Akbar gives orders to attack the Death Star, one Mon Calamari extra struggles to find the right monitor. This happens just before Akbar's famous line, making it hard for viewers not to notice.
It's a trap!
In Total Recall, you can tell the extras were asked to make it look like the building was shaking when the reactor starts, and one extra goes a little far with it. In Goodfellas, one extra completely missed the memo about blending into the background. During a tense scene between Ray Liotta and Robert De Niro, he was just as focused on the moment as the main actors. Worse, he couldn't stop staring directly at the camera, breaking the illusion. Maybe the food on his table wasn't interesting enough. In 10 Things I Hate About You, there's a funny mistake during the gym scene with Joey and Bianca. After Bianca accidentally shoots her arrow at the teacher, a student runs off to get help. However, the extra stops running and awkwardly stands off to the side, seemingly unaware she's still in the shot. It makes it look like she only pretended to care.